Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Lee, back bringing some more NBA recaps, and we got 5 games to go over today, so let's just get right into it. Patience, that is the key word for the Los Angeles Lakers this season, and maybe in future season too, depending on what transpires from here on out. But as of right now, for the Los Angeles Lakers, it's all about patience. And it has been for the past few years as well, as the organization whose fans are known as the most impatient fans in the league have had to learn the art and practice of patience. And that patience was sure as heck put to the test last night, as the Lakers found themselves on the wrong side of an unsightly blow. As when the final buzzer sounded, LA had officially lost its second game in a row, 117-85 to the Denver Nuggets. And the main thing I want to talk about in this game, or the main player that I want to talk about right now for the Los Angeles Lakers, is Brandon Ingram, a player that I know quite a few fans are starting to run out of patience with. He's a player who had a lot of buzz surrounding him coming into the season. Because of that, some fans so far have been unimpressed by what they've seen so far out of the third-year forward. And last night, on a night where really no one on the Lakers could hit a shot, he was no exception, finishing with a pedestrian 14 points, albeit on some pretty efficient shooting. However, it's still just 14 points. And on the year as a whole, you'd be hard-pressed to find an area in which he has improved in compared to his last season, as his scoring has remained just around the same, while everything else, stat-wise at least, has taken a bit of a hit. So instead of making a massive leap forward like a lot of people expected him to do, Brandon Ingram kind of took a lateral step to the side so far this season. And this of course has a lot to do with all of the new additions to the team that the Lakers made over the summer, the least of which being LeBron James. And now that Brandon Ingram is playing alongside LeBron, of course we can expect there to be some sort of an adjustment period. And look, I say all of this to say in no way am I disappointed with Brandon Ingram this year. He's in his third year, still only 21 years old, playing under some of the brightest lights in the NBA with the Los Angeles Lakers, and those lights are made even brighter with the new addition of LeBron James. So if you expected me to give Brandon Ingram the Andrew Wiggins treatment in this video, you're not gonna find it, as I still have a lot of hope for him as a player moving forward in his career. And I know that if he had his own team where he could be more involved in the offensive end, that he will blossom into an extremely good player, which is why even though I'm not questioning Brandon Ingram's skill set as a player, I am starting to question his long-term fit with the Los Angeles Lakers. More specifically, his long-term fit next to LeBron James for the next 4 seasons. And I'm not alone in this either, as fans across the world and even some other league executives are already starting to take notice that Brandon Ingram and LeBron James might not mesh too well on the court together. And that is why you also see articles coming out speculating as to whether or not the Lakers should trade Brandon Ingram for a guy like Bradley Beal. And I'm not gonna lie, I tend to agree with that trade idea, as Beal would be a perfect fit alongside LeBron James. And he would also give the Lakers that deadly knockdown shooter that they desperately need. I can only imagine LeBron James operating out of the post, driving to the rim, and finding Bradley Beal wide open, if only for a split second after running behind numerous screens. That's the chemistry that LeBron James and Bradley Beal could have that LeBron James and Brandon Ingram will never have. And I have no doubt that if the Lakers really wanted to, that they could be one of the few teams in the league that could get a deal done with the Washington Wizards or Bradley Beal. I'd imagine that a trade package with the headliner Brandon Ingram would definitely get the Wizards' attention. So the Lakers could do it if they wanted to, but now the question is, why aren't the Lakers looking to get Bradley Beal? Why haven't they reached out to Washington? Clearly they themselves must know that Beal would be a great fit alongside LeBron James and a much better fit than Brandon Ingram has been. They must be seeing the signs that this LeBron James Brandon Ingram experiment just might not work out. So why haven't the Lakers began exploring the trade market yet? And I think the answer to that question is patience. As it stands right now, if anything, this just seems to be a trial run season for LA, where they try and figure out what works and what doesn't, as well as exactly what type of players they should surround LeBron James with. See, you could trade Brandon Ingram for Bradley Beal right now, sure, but in the long run, does that make you a better team than Golden State? No, the Lakers still would not be able to contend with a fully functioning Warriors team this year. So why make a trade for Bradley Beal now when the Lakers already have their eyes set on a player like Klay Thompson this summer, or if Anthony Davis becomes available in a trade. If that happens, then the Lakers would no longer have the means to be able to trade for him, since they most likely just gave up their most valuable trade assets for Bradley Beal. So as it stands right now, I completely agree with the approach the Lakers are taking to this season of let's just sit back, see what works and see what doesn't. We're not going to compete for a championship this year. We're not 100% insane. We know we're not going to win a championship this year. So let's just see what happens. And if a player like Anthony Davis does become available, sure, we'll take a shot at him. But if not, we'll take our chances in free agency. Next up though, we have to talk about the Toronto Raptors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. And as a non-Toronto Raptors fan, I can still admit that I hope Kawhi Leonard stays with the Raptors after the season, and I hope that Toronto will then pursue just one more star player to go alongside Kawhi and Lowry as well, because this team is so close. In a 7-game series, I'm still taking the Golden State Warriors since it's hard to bet against the best team ever assembled, but I feel like the Raptors, as long as Kawhi can stay healthy, would be so close. And one aspect that Toronto already has over Golden State, if you ask me, is depth. The Warriors may have the Raptors beat in overall star power, but depth-wise, I'm taking the Toronto Raptors. Anyways, 122-114 the final score in this one. Van Vliet was perfect off the bench with 6 of 6 shooting for 18 points. For our next game of the night, the Detroit Pistons just won their 3rd game in a row with the 115-108 win over the Knicks. And after the game, Dwayne Casey had a message to all NBA fans, as well as more specifically, I guess, Pistons fan about this team, saying, "We have to prove to our fans who we are and what we are, and make sure that we're trusted enough for them to spend their hard-earned money. However, I do know that if you're a basketball fan, we do play a brand of basketball that is a winning brand, but we're not a finished product." That not a finished product thing makes me think maybe there's something going on at Detroit. Maybe they're about to make a move. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe he just means they're still learning Dwayne Casey's system, but he's right. They're not a finished product, but they are a heck of a lot better than they have been in years past. Next up though, the Indiana Pacers pick up yet another win, this time over the Phoenix Suns, 109-105. Miles Turner easily having one of his best games on the season so far with 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Play like that more often. And lastly, it is time for the Miami Heat to just trade everyone on their roster outside of Josh Richardson and of course Dwayne Wade, as keeping players like Whiteside, Olynyk, and Wayne Ellington just doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't seem like the Heat are going to be able to contend to a playoff spot this year, so they might as well blow it up for expiring contracts and draft picks and try and get in on that Zion Williamson race. They lost to the Atlanta Hawks last night, 115-113. Trae Young with 17 points and 10 assists in this one. And that is going to bring us to today's player of the day, where you guys have the opportunity to vote for who you think was the best player in the league last night by clicking the little eye icon in the top right-hand corner of the video. Just remember though, the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, you guys selected Kevin Durant and his 49 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds as your player of the day. Thank you so much for watching though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, but until next time, I'm out of here.